I love
weddings.
love.
I love love too.
I love. I love you.
You know who has won the Champions League?
You! Shots! Claire, can you tell us about the media mastermind you're nominating?
Today I'm nominating Maggie Murphy. It's the way that she humanises people.
I'm honestly a little bit shaky at the moment from hearing what you said. So, yeah, thank you.
You got your cat?
I did. My
Your legacy cat?
Yeah, I'm number 175. After I retired, I struggled quite a bit. Been playing football such a long time, it becomes your identity.
I can relate to that.
To come in and have 12 straight wins, pretty cool, isn't it?
It's not an easy thing to do to take over from Emma Hayes. People feel like there's a lot of former Lionesses that might have a bit of like older generation, like bitterness, chip on their shoulder a little bit. I'm not malicious. I critique the games the way I'd like to be critiqued myself.
Serena's been quite static in her squads and her kind of reliable 11. She hasn't actually given the exposure to some of these younger players that you mentioned.
You're asking me now if I think England will win the Euros at this moment in time? No.
Hello and welcome back to The Kickback. My name's Shabana Hearn and the evil twin sister Rusha is still away on international duty. So we have roped in broadcasting legend and quadruple winner, work wifey, Lianne Sanderson in the house. Coming up for you on today's show, we're going to be joined by ex-Chelsea legend, 2012 Olympian and pundit, Claire Rafferty, to dig into her career highlights and lots more. Plus, she's going to share with us her inspirational women she wants to nominate as part of the We See You network, brought to you by 3. Stay tuned for all of that and much more on the way on The Kickback. And Lianne is in the house. We're just talking about weddings because you're getting married in August. Have you planned it all? Are you done?
More or less, I think my fiancé's family are a little bit stressed at the moment because we're very laid back. Me and Ellis are both quite laid back, but we're actually like, we need to do more, but we've done quite a lot. We had the wedding caterer come last week. We obviously have the venue. You have your invite. Hopefully you've RSVP'd.
I'm going. I'll be there in a white dress.
I imagine.
What
Oh my God, Ellis will be fuming. No, but it's actually really like, it's quite nice because obviously, as you know, I spend a lot of time away. So like, we've been trying to plan this wedding when I've been away. So it's quite nice to be home, but I love a wedding. You just went to one yesterday, didn't you?
So we were at a wedding yesterday down in Frome, which is like West Country.
Rome?
It felt like Rome on a drive back this morning.
I've never heard of Rome.
But they had like lots of different things planned, like extra things, like opera singers like belting out Backstreet Boys.
Okay.
Like those kind of mashups. And it starts and you're like, okay. And then before you know it, like everybody's like, I'm a sexual.
Sorry, what song is that?
Boys. Backstreet Boys, Backstreet's Back.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, that rendition, I didn't really recognise it.
That's fair.
But don't you just love a wedding? Like, I just love it. I love going to weddings.
Love.
I love love too.
Love. I love you. Don't marry her. Wait for me to be a lesbian and then I'll be your lesbian wifey.
Right, thanks.
Okay.
I love Ellis.
That's a no. How's everything else? It's been some week. I mean, I've only just about settled my nerves from Friday night with the first leg of the playoffs, and now they roll back around, and it's just so hard to deal with the emotions and the anticipation of what's going to happen. I
know, especially for you with your sister. I mean, on my show, the Women's Football Show yesterday, we gave your sister the goal. Obviously, Rusha gets credit for the goal. They gave it as an own goal to Clark. I was like, how is that possible? It was on target.
Yeah.
So, and obviously there's a lot to play. Wales Island. Like, you're going today, aren't you? Flying to Dublin?
Yeah, we're going to go to Dublin, and it's at the Aviva. And I'm beside myself, Lianne. I just don't know quite how to deal with it. And the sweetest thing happened, by the way. So, as you know, we had done a little VT with Rush before she left. So Riva, my daughter, who loves women's football, she sees a lot of women's football. My son doesn't like loud noises and stuff. He's quite sensitive, so he doesn't love the football yet, whereas Riva loves it. So we're watching the game on Friday night, me, Riva and Jamie. Brooks is sitting with his headphones on, could have been anywhere else. And when Rusha scored, I jumped off the couch, screamed, grabbed Jamie, turned the off button off on the remote by accident. Riva started crying with excitement and her body was shaking. Aww. And she went, Mummy, my wish came true.
That is so cute.
So then I'm bawling my eyes out and I just thought, it was so lovely to be able to see her have a moment like that in an Ireland trip.
And your twin as well, it's like, did you feel it? Did you feel like you scored? You know when people say twins have that like connection where like if one gets hurt, the other one gets hurt. Did you feel like you scored the goal?
I felt like I was part of it. sitting there on the rosy wine in my house, like I felt that I'd contributed towards that goal. No, it was really lovely, and we're really proud of you, Rush, and fingers crossed, even though this will be expired by the time we know what happens. And Scotland as well against Finland.
I know.
You know, 0-0 at Edinburgh. I think they'll be ruined not taking advantage. You know,
my old manager Pedro at Arsenal, obviously Scotland manager.
Of course.
I didn't have the greatest relationship with him, but
why not?
Just, I don't know. It was a bit of a, I don't know how to explain it, but like a lot of people had indifferent relationships.
I thought she was going to say something really truthful there. He was
I was trying to think of why. I have no idea. I think because I re-signed for Arsenal, thinking it was going to be the Arsenal what I used to play for.
Yeah.
I think that was a misconception because we played under Vic Akers, who was like the best coach manager ever. And then when I re-signed for Arsenal in 2015, it just wasn't the same.
I see.
A lot of people had the same problems, and then he left the year after.
Yeah.
So
okay.
Good luck to him, though. Good luck to Scotland.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, obviously, you want the home nations to do well, and I'm kind of.
But do you though?
Yeah, of course.
Do you though? Because I have this thing sometimes when people say, like, I feel like Scotland, Ireland, Wales don't want England to win. Whenever we're playing,
Russia would
men's
be a bit
football,
shady like that.
Women's football, rugby, whatever it is, like they don't want. I also, I'm a Man United fan.
Yeah.
I don't watch Champions League thinking, I hope Liverpool win. No chance.
No. I think with the home nations, like for me, I look at what the Lionesses did at the Euros and it changed women's football. I think Scotland needs that injection up the road. I was at home at the weekend, out on a girls' night, I was speaking to a couple of girls who love women's football and they're massive Arsenal fans. So I feel that injection, like maybe a major qualification again for Scotland, bearing in mind it's been a long time, would just be great. Now the profile's there, they get a bit more money.
100%.
And so many of those Scottish girls we've known for years.
But you know what, Siobhan, I think that the Lionesses not qualifying for the Olympics has had a domino effect on the WSL attendances.
Fair.
Because I think that we're still not in a place where the league can't not rely on the Lionesses. Yes, the profile's getting bigger, but similar to the way the US Women's National Team used to be, where people came to watch Alex Morgan, that's kind of changed now. People come and they can watch the games more. But do you notice there's been not a drop-off, but like, no one was really watching those games because Team GB wasn't there.
Yeah.
And the kids couldn't watch it. And then the attendances, yes, Arsenal are flying.
Yeah.
They always have done.
Yeah.
But if you notice all the other teams in the WSL, their attendances have not gone on.
Well, this is the thing. We had this conversation recently about club over country, country over club, with the Harry Kane last international break situation. Anyway, I actually think that the Lionesses are bigger than the WSL, and that is still something they'll be looking to try and get hold of. But you can understand why. Their profiles, for example, are bigger than your normal midfielder at another club. That when you're a Lioness, everything's different. So a lot of people rock up for the Lionesses.
Yeah. And also on the flip side though, there's people that might come to watch a certain player, but then actually like another player more because they didn't know much about them, but from going to watch them live, might meet them. Do you know what I mean? So there's different situations I think can come out of those types of things.
And it's quite nice. It's quite nice that, you go because you like a player, no matter where they go, you kind of follow the player. Some people go that as blooming weird.
That happens more in women's football, actually. That's a really good point.
Yeah, and it's because it's like a fanship, fandom. You like the person no matter where they play. I think that'll stop in time, the more salty things get. But for now, it's that lovely carnival atmosphere. Wales as well. Like, honestly, tonight against Ireland, I want to see the home nations do well. But how difficult when I need Rush and Ireland to qualify, and it's against Wales. It's such a difficult one to. And it was the same, Lianne, with the Women's World Cup. It was Scotland against Ireland at Hampden.
So what are you going to do? I mean, you obviously have to always root for your sister.
Exactly. But can we not just get an easy one? Can we not just get one that I don't give a about the other team?
Do you get nervous when you watch her?
So nervous.
I never realised that, right? Like, my mum and dad come to every game, never missed a game. And I'm like, what was it like for you? Because obviously I'd be ready for the game and they're like, singing national anthem and all those things. But like, you don't think about your family because you're just in that game mode. But actually it's like, a big responsibility.
They're worries.
Like they're watching you. You might go down with an injury or like they're feeling everything with you.
I think it's Ronaldo's mum doesn't go to his games. Is that right? Because she just can't handle the stress of watching him play football. I'm like, love, he's done all right.
Yeah, he's not done too badly.
He's going to be fine. We've got lots coming up in today's show and it's time now to speak to former Chelsea legend turned pundit, Claire Rafferty. It's been too long, my friend. How are you?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. I mean, she's a bit salty over there about
She is, a little bit, just a little bit.
I call Raf Houdini. Do you know why? Because she's like an illusionist. I love seeing her but I don't see her not often
Special
enough.
occasions only.
Like, I see her at a game and she'll be like, oh, mate, you got to meet up for a drink. I'm like, Raf, you ain't meeting up for a drink.
One day
Unless
we
she's
will.
getting paid, she ain't coming.
No, but
listen,
and I respect it.
You know what? I had to take some time away from women's football. You know?
No, I respect that, but I love you, you know
I do
that.
I come back and forth.
That's why I call
every
you
now and again.
Houdini.
Yeah. I'm like, surprise.
Back, jazz hands.
Yeah.
When you say you have to take time away, is it just because it's so overwhelming and the world is so small of women's
it's
football? You just need a.
You know what? I think after I retired, I struggled quite a bit. Just kind of like, who am I? These kind of questions about my personality, what I want to do in life. I think playing football such a long time, it becomes your identity. So I had to almost be born
I can relate
again.
to that though. I can relate to that because I think when I first started doing like punditry, I preferred doing the men's game because the women's game was quite triggering for me. Like I felt like I was wronged quite a bit in the women's game. So therefore, when I'd go to the games and work for talkSPORT, I had to really have this like coat of armour. And even my like partner said to me, I don't know if you should be doing the women's game because you're different. It's like you're on edge.
My partner says the same. She's like, you know, is this something that you want to keep doing? Because, you know, I do get quite anxious when I do certain things. Obviously not today, because I'm with you two. But like it does bring out something in me. But I think I've overcome that now.
Do you think it's because it's hard to be liked by everyone, or do you sometimes feel that you want to have everyone agree with you and they're not going to?
Yeah, I think that's what it is maybe. I think when I've started just after retiring, you're still very much involved, aren't you? Mm-hmm. And then having to have strong opinions on people that are your friends, perhaps. I think I wasn't comfortable with it. More of like a people pleaser kind of element.
Okay, yeah.
See, I'm not. You know what?
I've changed now. But that's what I was doing at the
Just take
beginning.
a leaf at our book.
I've changed now. I'm a lot more confident in my own opinion.
Right. Okay.
And I think I just took some time.
That's the thing. I mean, we have this conversation quite a bit. We're getting to the stage now where it's fine to criticise people because they play football and they might have had a poor performance, they might have had a good performance, but it is such a small industry and everyone knows everyone. You don't want to offend people. I mean, I've known of times where there's been club press officers phoning broadcasters to say, that pundit really hurt my players' feelings.
Oh, I've had players message me. I've had players message me. I've had owners message me. Good stuff.
Yeah.
And also stuff, not necessarily saying because I'm not malicious. I critique the games the way I'd like to be critiqued myself.
Yeah.
So if I've not had a good game, I'm like, we all make mistakes. And if a goalkeeper makes a mistake, I'm not going to hammer them.
Yeah.
I just say these things happen, you know, like, but if someone hasn't had a good game, then we have to critique because I think, you know, it's
You need to have that honest feedback. And I just.
But it's not malicious. Like, at all. It's like, but when players try and like message me to kind of, what's the word I'm looking for?
But are you up?
Just a little dig
Yeah.
here and there.
No, but to try and
they
like.
know you're going on to
Yeah, I'm thinking, you don't even talk to me. Like, I see you and you literally don't, but all of a sudden you want to come and hug me.
Sliding
But
in your DMs.
now that you know that I'm in a position where can give my opinion, and if people that know me will know that they're not changing
That's not going to
anything.
sway Lianne.
No, I'm nice. You know, I'm a nice person. But like I said, I just critique the way I think, and I think we need to be like that, Raf, because I think
it needs to be. You need that critique. Otherwise, what's the point? You're just kind of going along with it. And I think that's what I wasn't comfortable with.
I see.
I wanted it to be done well, and I didn't feel like at the time I was in a position to be that strong.
And you've got quite a cool job now.
Yeah,
like you're
and
working
you know what? I kind of took a slightly different angle. So
Tell us
work
about this
Work
role
at a company called Transfer Room. So it's a marketplace for transfers, basically. So clubs will put their players up for sale. They'll also use it for outplacement, so loan players. And basically, they just pitch to each other. The player has to match the criteria. Then it opens up that communication.
Is this men and women?
At the moment, only men.
Wow.
Hopefully, in the future, it'll be for women's. I think it will totally transform women's football. But yeah, so it's clubs and agents that use it. So
yeah, you've always had good jobs though. I remember when Raf was like working in a bank. You had a really good job at a bank. Like, you've always been one of those ones that like work when we used to have to work alongside playing, but you always had like an elite.
I remember
type of
at
job.
Chelsea, I used to train in the morning up until 12, run quickly, get a shower, get changed, get on the train into the city to Deutsche Bank.
Wow.
Yeah.
God, they don't make him like that anymore.
That wasn't even that long ago, though. I say this all the
It wasn't even that
time.
long ago.
When dinosaur times,
Yeah.
I think people think I retired like.
And I'm only 35, you know. People.
Well, it's true. Like, so many of you for so long had to have other jobs.
I think people had to, just
you did.
affordability.
Just simply live.
Yeah.
Not me, guys.
No, Liam, we had our feet up after training, feet up, cup of tea.
Not me. Let's talk about some of the games from the weekend, of course, in the international break. So you were at Wembley, right? You were at Wembley?
Raf was
I was
there.
at Wembley.
I wasn't there.
So you got your cap.
I did. My
Your legacy cap.
Yep, I'm number 175.
Oh.
It was cool. Yeah, so that means obviously I'm the 175th player to play for the Lionesses. Really nice ceremony.
It is a nice touch.
It was cool because you
I had it, they forgot about me originally the first time round.
Let's forget about you.
I know, right? Who could forget about me? That's the thing. But you know what? Water under the bridge. Like, I always believe you have to give people an opportunity.
Yeah,
it's always me that seems to get forgotten, but that's a whole other story.
I don't know how they could forget you though, Lianne. You played a pivotal role though in the Lioness journey.
I know, and I appreciate that, Raf, because, but water under the bridge, went to the game last year. And it's a nice feeling because the thing is, your family, it's like, I gave it to my mum. It's like they're a big part of your life.
Proud, and you know what? They give so much, don't they?
Yeah.
Driving round to training.
I like that though, Raf, that they do. Because I think, I was saying this earlier, Shaban, like, there's a tendency, because the Lionesses are so successful now, that people feel like there's a lot of former Lionesses that might have a bit of like older generation, like bitterness, chip on their shoulder a little bit. I've seen a few different comments that a lot of them have made.
I feel like that. People always ask me, how do you feel about missing out on where the game is now? I didn't miss out.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoyed every second of it,
Yeah.
And I think people are like, they're getting paid more. I'm like, okay, but I actually got the experience to work. And now I'm in a better position now because of those experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, I feel like I'm better off.
I do think it's funny though when people ask me if they're like,
Would be nice though.
Do you know Lucy Bronze? Or I'm thinking we won the bronze medal with them.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? They can't believe that we were part of the same team but good luck to the girls. You know what I mean? The thing is, at that moment in time, I think, with the Euros being in England, it was everywhere, wasn't it? Tower Bridge, London Bridge, everywhere. And it was a time where everyone just pressed the green light on women's football and then it rocketed. I'm happy for that, because we've been wanting this for years.
But I think it kind of happened at different stages, didn't it? After the Olympics, there was an uplift. Then obviously the 2015 World Cup, the timing of those games didn't help us, did they? I think if they were prime time in the UK, then I think the kind of exposure would have been a lot more. But it's kind of been a slow build, hasn't it? And
It has.
explode in the Euros.
But then you look at, for example, the friendly the other night against the USA, which was, a bit of a beast of a game, to be honest.
Yeah.
But the turnout, the attendance again for that, it's outstanding.
And the atmosphere in the stadium, it was incredible. I think, I don't know, there was a fire show or a light show before. It was kind of like a whole spectacle. And the fact you've got 80,000 people turning up to see Emma Hayes for one, but also the Lionesses more importantly.
Yeah, I mean, and it was one of those games where the Lionesses weren't exactly where they want to be. I know it was kind of depleted teams on both sides, but did that make it an even match?
I think it worked out better for England because obviously Trinity Robin wasn't available, Sophia Smith, Mal Swanson. I thought the USA played better. I think, if you look at the interviews after the game, right, and that's not because I'm biased towards America before anyone says it. I'm a proud English woman.
She's got an American flag.
I've got my green card, but I'm English. But I will say that, like, there's this element that a lot of the players were kind of, the Lionesses were like, not happy with the draw, but kind of. Now, you
I think that's off the back of their performances, though, of late.
But I feel like we got to a point where we were we were better than them. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's almost like this Emma Hayes effect has come in and it's like, everyone's kind of like...
She has that impact, though, doesn't she?
She does.
I do think they lacked a bit of cutting edge, though, the USA, with those missing forwards that you mentioned. I think defensively, England were a lot stronger. Yeah. If you could somehow take the Germany game, the attacking prowess we showed in that, and combine it with the defensive perforence.
Yeah.
Finally, Alex Greenwood starts at left back. Hallelujah.
I'm a
Serena.
big advocate for left-footed players.
I wonder why.
left footer. I can't stand it when you put a right footer there. I'm thinking, you need the width.
Yeah.
You need that. And obviously Alex Greenwood's so great playing out from the back. Have her form for Man City as well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I love Alex Greenwood. I think she's one of the best defenders in the world. I've always said this. And for whatever reason, we said it last week. I said it last week on the show. Like, there's some players that just, I don't know, have to do that a little bit more. Big call, Millie Bright not starting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now, is she not at full fitness? Was it a rest type thing?
I think it's a tactical move from Serena. I actually saw Millie at half-time when we went at the game, when we went on the pitch with the caps. She wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't be, would you? She's in great form for Chelsea, but I think tactically wise, Serena's gone for someone who is better playing out the back, so to speak. And I think that's the messaging that she shared with Millie.
You need to have that, right? Does it not make you could become complacent sometimes? Because Millie Bright is an absolute regular for Serena Wiegmann, and we understand why. But actually to have that bit of grit and needle and someone to battle for that place, it's only good for Millie.
Competition.
Well, I think sometimes, of course, like when we played, like we didn't know who was playing, in a sense, like it was a competition for places, like up until the last minute. And I think there is an element of complacency with some players. Yeah. Not saying Millie, I'm just saying in general. I mean, Jess Carter playing in there. I mean, Millie could have still played, Does that make sense? You'd have expected.
Yeah.
But I like that decision. I thought it made sense. I still think Grace Clinton not getting on again after, performing 74 caps for England, like it makes no sense.
I just think defensively with Grace Clinton, she seems to be lacking a bit of consistency.
You think so?
I think that's what the issue is. Attacking-wise, I think she could have offered more than what we had on the pitch at the time. But I just think there's something not quite ready, or she's not ready right now. That's my opinion. Anyway.
Fair enough. And did you think that it was a step up from the previous performances we've seen from England?
Defensively only.
Right.
I think in terms of cohesion higher up the pitch, I just don't think it was there. The final pass wasn't, there was no kind of flair. And
Lauren Hemp not being available, and Lauren James.
Like, you're missing two key players who had such an element of creativity and surprise.
Fair play to Jess Naz, though, getting that start, because I liked what she said. She was like, I was just grateful to be in the squad, let alone starting. And that one was a bit of a surprise, I think she started.
Yeah, I think she kind of made a claim as well, didn't she? I think that final product, but I think not just her, for the whole attacking lineup. But yeah, I think she should be proud of herself. It's a big moment for her, especially the occasion. I think it's more about playing the occasion as well.
Right.
It's the performance, but can you manage that pressure?
Oh, I know. We used to remember when we used to get battered at Wembley in front of 70,000. We got battered by Germany. Honestly, I never forget. Remember we used to play. We used to be playing. We never used to play at Wembley apart from once every 10 years.
Once, and
we were just so excited, and then we got. Thankfully, those days are gone, but we got battered 3-0.
Yeah.
Pitch used to feel so big, didn't it?
Oh.
And I just think that's just because of the level we were at.
Because it's blooming huge.
Yeah, it is huge.
It's so different.
Yeah.
It's such a different. Even watching it, it's like this is a big difference. I
remember actually playing one time at Wembley. I think it was in the FA Cup final, and I remember thinking, God, I feel like so small on this pitch. Like it was swallowing me up. I mean, we weren't playing great. I think it was for West Ham when we played Man City. I think it was in the FA Cup final a while ago. And I just thought, this is a lonely place if you're not playing well. This is a lonely, lonely place.
And you can't hear anything. Isn't it funny that, but you can still hear your manager?
Yeah.
Well, I always think this. I'm like, you can always hear your coach.
Yeah.
No matter how loud it is, you always,
just
when it's bad stuff, you kind of try and block it out.
Speaking of managers, by the way, that picture of Sarina Wiegman, Emma Hayes, Pochettino, all together chatting, I'm like, that's an incredible, it's a bit of an iconic image,
I mean, two great managers, and you could tell by the game as well. It was so tactically precise.
Yes.
But I think Emma Hayes' persona always outweighs everyone else.
It was always the whole week was just focused on Emma, wasn't it? They were talking to Naomi Gurma about it after the game, saying, was this strange? Because those players in America, they're probably not used to being, because they're like rock stars, they're billboards at Times Square, whereas Emma Hayes is now bigger than the players. And I think that's not a bad thing necessarily.
Is she like that in America then? Because I don't have the exposure to... Is
Emma?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she's on everything. The Today Show, you know what Americans are. I even noticed that Em started wearing a bit of makeup. I'm like...
I thought
as soon as she got that job, I was like, I knew it. I was like...
Trainers are upgraded.
Yeah. She's got these fresh Jordans on. I was like, yep.
The PR machine comes in, doesn't it? But by the way, she's just... There's something about her. There's something about her. And she is missed here in this league. But, I mean, being... quite aptly replaced by Sonia Bonpastor. Let's get to Chelsea in just a second. But in terms of England, seriously, now, how you feel about the Euros in the summer, where do you think England will fare?
I think, they've got one more game, one more friendly before the Nations League starts to actually make some changes and try out players. I think defensively they can take confidence from that game. Mm-hmm. I do just think it's just lacking that cohesion. And I think obviously we're going to get players back from injuries. It's just about them peaking at the right time, isn't it? And I mean, how much did we learn from that game? We kind of already knew how that back four was going to be play out. It's just more so who's going to be in that attack. There's not a lot of competition for the likes of Russo. I'd like to see maybe someone come in.
Mm-hmm. Do you know what I was thinking about Rach Daly? Obviously, she got her retirement, and I thought at the pitch at Wembley on Saturday, and I thought there must be an element of Rach. I had her on my show the other week that thinks because she could still be playing there. Do you know what I mean? She would be that player that would be giving Alessia Russo kind of that. There's not really any competition. Yeah. And I love Alessia Russo, top girl, top player.
You need to be uncomfortable when you're playing for England. You do need to have that kind of looking over your shoulder, don't you?
Well, and Rach was obviously banging in goals and then playing left back.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But I think on the game on Saturday, though, I think they both cancelled each other out. Yeah. It was almost not a game of chess, but I think it was a bit anticlimactic, the England game. But I think if you're asking me now...
boring, actually, the first
I thought
in particular.
So. If you're asking me now if I think England will win the Euros at this moment in time, no.
No, I agree.
I think, as much as that pains me to say it, I think what I see, it looked like we peaked before. Winning the Euros, we've gone on that trajectory, and I feel like now it just looks a bit I don't know. There's something not quite right.
But you get to the World Cup final, you still had it then. Things have obviously changed slightly with Earps and whatever and go, and that's moved around a fair bit. I mean, we've seen Serena Wiegmann really toy up with that goalkeeper position and play about with it. But you're right, in front of goal, it is different. Because you look at Beth Mead for the Euros and Russo for the Euros, it was such a attacking, all firing team. But
it's confidence as well, and also reflective in their performances for their teams, their club teams. The form that they take into those Euros is going to define how we do in that tournament.
Is there somebody in the wings? Is there a young English striker, at a club somewhere who's doing something that you think in time is going to maybe early next year burst into that team?
I mean, Aggie Beaver-Jones, obviously she's part of the squad, but I think she's got a lot about her. She's got quality, she's got speed, and hopefully against Switzerland tonight she might get that opportunity to get some minutes, because I think when I think about other players, I mean, you might know other players.
I can't think of anyone else really who I think is at that level.
Yeah.
And that's also a problem in itself, because we used to be able to reel off 5, 6, 7 players' names that were the next kind of crop of players coming through.
But it's the issue that they haven't actually had the exposure. Serena's been quite static in her squads and her kind of reliable 11. She hasn't actually given the exposure to some of these younger players that you mentioned coming through.
Great.
So we're gonna pay the price for that, because when it comes to those major tournaments, you get an injury for Russo. Who is there?
Who's ready?
Yeah.
And actually, Russo, fair play to her, she's always available.
Yeah.
She's an available player and she'll work her backside off in every single game. But it does make you think about the Euros next year. I think, okay, you always know that they've got a big performance in them. I just feel it has been slack.
Yeah.
But not slack, I don't know if that's the right word. Who the hell am I to call the Lionesses slack? Do you know? But there's something
something missing. There is something missing.
And then you are missing the Rachel Daly's, even still Jill Scott and Ellen White, those huge personalities and the experienced ones who'd come through everything that you guys have been to then selling out Wembley in a Euros final. You still had that ingredient.
It's the grit, isn't it?
Yeah, that's missing.
The struggles that we had, so to speak.
Yeah.
I think who in that squad is really left out of that? I mean, Millie Bright experience. Some of it, Lucy Bronze.
Yeah, Bronzy.
No one else really.
Bronzy's having a great season, by the way.
And I do think, obviously, Millie Bright didn't start in that game. I felt like they missed her.
That leadership.
Because that that fight that you can't buy.
Yeah, that's a good point. Either way, we'll all still focus on England, because they're such a good team and the talent is there. It's just we are now looking at the next Euros and going, wonder what's going to happen with England, because it's not quite as nailed on as what it has seemed in the past.
But it wasn't nailed on at the Euros when they won. This is the thing, because people sometimes got on board on the women's football train during the Euros, which is absolutely fine. But we weren't favourites going into the Euros when we won. Like Sweden were favourites, Spain.
Netherlands are still,
We ended up winning. So, and fair play to the girls, because everybody that then was falling in love with the Lionesses was thinking we were the favourites, but we wasn't. So... But there's definitely something missing. But I think it's interesting, because when they talk about stuff, they're like, we just block out all the outside noise and all that. Like, there's top players there. Serena Wiegmann, one of the best managers in the world. I was saying Serena we trust, but I think there needs to be something more.
Yeah.
And I have no doubt Serena sees that and knows that.
Yeah.
And she obviously is going to give a calm exterior, isn't she? She's not going to panic. But something does need to change.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not calling for a new manager, but
Yeah.
it might just spice things up a bit.
But some people would say something like that, but I don't think we're there yet. But let's talk about then your Chelsea, because Emma Hayes leaving, Sonia coming in. We talk about it every week in the show. It's been quite a smooth transition, hasn't it?
Just? I mean, she inherited such a strong squad. Obviously, end of an era when Emma left, but I think the club was in a really great place. But 12 out of 12 wins? I think the transition has just been seamless. I was actually speaking to Gemma Davison on Saturday at the game about her, because she works at the club.
Yeah.
And she was just saying, tactically, the way she takes training, the way she interacts with the players, it's just kind of has another level to how Emma managed it. And obviously each manager will have their own way of working, but it's just gone to another level. And to come in and have 12 straight wins, pretty cool, isn't it?
It's not an easy thing to do, to take over from Emma Hayes. Arguably one of the best managers, if not, apart from Vic Hayes, ever, success-wise.
Yeah.
And I think she's done an incredible job. I mean, she hasn't won anything yet.
Yeah, that's the thing. She hasn't won anything yet, so you can't really gauge the
I will
success
say that she's done an incredible job. But I think what I loved about what Emma done is she's left the club in a fantastic place, like signing players like Ramirez, knowing that she was already leaving. bringing players back, you know, from like Aggie Beaver-Jones, those types of players, like, I think that shows you that Emma really loves that club.
Yeah.
Because she could have been like, you know, not re-signing players, not getting these players to come. And that's what she done. But fair play to Sonia Bonpastor because she's done an amazing job. And sometimes, you know, you need a little bit of freshening up.
You do.
Don't you?
Yeah, you do. Of course you do. I think obviously the players that were there when Emma was there, they'll be excited by a new manager, a new person to prove themselves to. But as you mentioned, the infrastructure behind the scenes, so that recruitment strategy, what that looks like, that'll be in place now. So obviously Bonpastor will put her own spin on that. They play a slightly different way. But yeah, I mean, it's a great club to walk into, isn't it?
And as we mentioned the other day, it's like, you've still got Sam Kerr.
Exactly. You forget about her. Well, I mean, you can't hardly forget about her.
it's true.
Like,
No
I
disrespect,
forgot that she,
Sam, like, she's kind of, she's...
I mean, do they need her?
Like, where is she going to play though? She will play.
Yeah,
I'm saying, who are they going to take out?
Ramirez, but then that's the thing, Ramirez, we know, carries a knock or two here or there. So, I mean,
so
what an
maybe,
incredible couple to just switch
Exactly.
up to.
But like I think Bonpastor plays like a 4-1-3. Am I right in the right numbers here? 4-1-3-2.
Come on, Matthew.
I'm trying to think my numbers wrong there. But Ramirez sometimes does like to drop in a bit more, allowing the central midfielders to run on. So it's slightly different in terms of how she plays. Obviously, her physicality is great, the way that she...
See, that's the thing I'm enjoying most about Ramirez, is that she will tackle someone and then smile at them as they are
she
in
doesn't care, does she?
on the... Nah.
It's just like flick.
And then she'll be like, ref! And I'm like, you've just crunched her in half. And she's like... it's like, smile.
It's what it is.
And Baltimore as well, Sandy Baltimore playing fullback, that's a forward from PSG, like, it's crazy. Like, no one ever saw that one coming in. She's having an incredible season.
And you know what I'm loving about that wing-back position, or kind of that left-sided position with Guro Reuten there as well. Baltimore obviously likes to stay wide and use that width, which we've seen Reuten coming in a little bit more, which I think has changed that dynamic in the centre of the pitch and allowed Guro Reuten to kind of... I think she's top goal scorer, I think, is she?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I didn't think she could get better.
I know,
actually.
exactly. I think
like
that's like tweaks in the diagonal run she's making in field.
Yeah.
Obviously, Baltimore. And then you talk about, obviously, Lucy Bronze on the
Bronze is
right-hand
just
side.
like flying.
What a squad.
No.
What a squad, to be fair to them. You'll go first, don't you? Do you think, though, she's going to win the league, and can she win the Champions League for Chelsea?
I think winning the league, yes, I think so. Champions League, it's just... It's still an unknown kind of element to it. The exposure that they have in terms of the level each week, they just don't get that. Obviously, Champions League this week, they had they had Celtic, and it was quite straightforward in the end. It's about squad rotation, depth of the squad. They've got a couple of more injuries as well. I don't know. I think it might still just elude them.
But you know who has won the Champions League?
Shots. She was sat there smiling. I thought she's going to say something. She's going to come in.
Savannah last week was like waiting to see how long it took me into a show before I said we won the quadruple.
When I won the Champions League,
you won the quadruple. You went unbeaten. Did you go unbeaten?
I went unbeaten. Did you know that, guys? No, but all jokes aside,
I didn't know I was beaten by you.
Sonia Bonpastor, like only manager to ever win as a player and a manager. Like,
that's pretty insane.
But again, Raf, I agree with you. It's like such a difficult competition to win. And it's getting harder every year. And Barcelona, Lyon.
I think they were able to rotate the squad this month with the Champions League, obviously the league fixtures and the extra rearranged game. But come the new year, is the step still going to be there with the injuries that are coming through?
I know. That's the thing, though, and the amount of players.
Exactly.
You'll probably know from years in the camp, like, how much of it... It sounds like she's a drill sergeant as well. Like, she has them hammered.
Quite consistent in terms of how they train.
I'd be like... Get me airlifted out of here, Sonia. I can't do that. Coming up for you on the kickback, Claire Rafferty is going to share with us her nomination as part of the We See You network, brought to you by 3. 3's We See You network inspires the recognition and celebration of women across the sports industry. 3 are encouraging people to celebrate the inspirational women in their own network, nominating them or themselves for the chance to participate in once-in-a-lifetime experiences. So this opportunity is open for all women involved in any aspect of football at any level, from passionate players and media masterminds to committed coaches. So each week, we'll be asking our guests on the show to nominate their unsung hero who has either had the influence on their career or on the women's game. Claire Rafferty is with us. Claire, can you tell us about the media mastermind you're nominating?
Yes, today I'm nominating Maggie Murphy. So I had the privilege of working with Maggie as a non-exec director while she was at Lewis FC. It was for quite a short period in the end, and as we discussed before, it was during a time when I was going through a bit of a transition in my career, so it was shorter than I would have liked to, but nonetheless I was able to experience what she offers the game, the way she's changed the football club, equal resources to both men's and women's side, and just a continuous battle and fight for equality.
So she had an impact on your career, that change in the time that you were going through when you were stepping away from football and going into media and what have you. But do you have a significant moment that really affected you?
I think there's not one specific moment, but it's more accumulation of moments. First and foremost, the authenticity of Maggie is kind of one of her unique aspects, especially in the women's game. But it's the way that she humanises people. And for me, there was many situations where she would reach out, especially at particular difficult times, just to check in. And I think putting the human first is the most important thing, especially in the women's game when it can be lost and in the game in general. But yeah, obviously witnessing the transition that she made at Lewis FC, that fight for equality, and asking those difficult questions, what actually is equality? It's not just about replicating men's football, it's about highlighting what they do well and maybe what can be done differently in women's football.
Well, she sounds like a brilliant
She's amazing.
Yeah, I'm pleased to see that your unsung hero, Maggie Murphy, is dialing in now. Maggie, how are you? Great to have you with us on the show. How are you doing?
I'm actually a little bit choked up, Claire.
Oh, Maggie, hi.
Hi, Maggie.
Quite close to. Yeah,
we'll make you cry first thing in the morning.
I know. Well, I'm. Yeah, that was so lovely, Claire. I really appreciate it, and also, I don't think you quite understood how much of an impact you had on me. I mean, well, you say that I was supporting you, but to be honest, I was also leaning on you for advice and guidance and support for trying to figure out how to support our players. Your dual career, for example, was like exactly what championship players were going through at that time. And so I was kind of learning from you how to provide the best possible environment. And so I was kind of leaning on and drawing from you loads and loads. I learned so much from you. So I'm honestly a little bit shaky at the moment from hearing what you said. So, yeah, thank you.
Maggie, what Raf said about, in the women's game, we often lack people that are not great communicators, and that's an understatement. What was it that you kind of picked up along the way that kind of you were able to share that type of communicative skills that you did with Raf?
I think that it's really important, first of all, to know where people are coming from and what they've experienced, what their incentives are, what their drivers are. I was working with Raf at a time where I can listen and understand her experience. But remember, I was also working with and trying to figure out how to work with men who had been in the men's game for 50 years and who had very different incentives and motivations and understandings, people who maybe didn't understand the struggles that women had gone through just to play on the pitch, let alone to get any money. And so I think for me, what I thought was really important was to understand where they're coming from so that then I can try and figure out, okay, where is the overlap? Where do the incentives or alignment meet and what is a good outcome? It's not about always compromising, because I think, as Raf said, I can be a bit challenging sometimes as well and demand more and demand better, but it's also being respectful to why people think the way they think.
Maggie, it's great to have you on, and I'm so pleased that Claire's nominated you, because it's lovely to know more about you as well. But how does it feel to be nominated as part of the We See You campaign, thanks to 3?
Well, I love the network. I've known a bit about it. I've seen some of the incredible women that have gone through it, both from a media side, from a coaching side. I love the fact that it's highlighting people, often behind the scenes, that are not always as visible, for example. Yeah. I think there's so much grit and determination and a hard slog and blood, sweat, tears, genuinely, that goes on behind the scenes. And so anything that can elevate those people, kind of recognize some of those hardships that people go through, in order to serve others, I think is so powerful. Honestly, it's just it's blown me away, my recognition, I guess. Yeah, I'm super grateful and still a little bit speechless.
Oh, that's lovely. It's nice because I actually think it's so right. You'll probably just crack on and keep hustling and doing your job and doing all the right things. But when you get that recognition from somebody who you've worked with and connected with in the past, it means a great deal. So well done to you.
Well done, Maggie.
Yeah, well done,
you deserve
Maggie.
it. Keep on the fight.
Bye.
Maggie Murphy, keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. Lovely
Lovely.
nomination from you, Claire Rafferty.
Lovely, lovely person.
Yeah, she seems.
You can tell as well.
Yeah.
You can tell from her energy and vibe.
Yeah, good energy. We like that. Don't forget, we want to hear your We See You nominations too. All you have to do is go to the We See You Network Hub link in the description to make your nomination right now. Get involved. It's a good thing. Guys, it's been an absolute treat. Honestly.
Thanks for having me.
Brunch, anyone?
Yes. So I'm like Houdini, you know.
Yeah, I'm not going to see her now for like 5 years.
Claire, thank you for being a
you for
special
having me.
guest on the show today. It's been great to get your insight and hear what you've been up to. Leanne, as ever, I'm sure you'll be back next week talking about the time you won the quadruple.
Oh,
Safe trip
did you
to
know
Dublin.
that? She won the quadruple.
Breaking news, everyone! Guys, thank you very much. And don't forget to like and subscribe and leave a message. And of course, don't forget, we want to hear your We See You nominations too. All you have to do is go to the We See You Network Hub link in the description box to submit your nomination. Get involved, like, subscribe, leave a comment, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.